Hello, my name is Corinne. I'm a Feng Shui consultant, and today I want to talk about Feng Shui for the office. Let's talk about the command position. The command position is when your desk is placed in a way that you can see the door. It gets a little tricky when there's multiple doors in a space. So ideally you want to be able to face all the doors, but the most important door is the door that comes in from outside. That is the most important door. The idea of a command position is if you think about, back in medieval times when they had thrones and they were able to see the whole room, right? They usually had a wall behind them and it faced the whole room and you could see. We'll talk about the chair as well and the throne, but so command position, it's a position of power. You don't feel exposed, you don't feel vulnerable, and you feel that you are able to, it's a feeling of safety. You can see the whole room. I believe police officers and law enforcement are trained to sit in a position where you can see all the entrances and exits of a room. So command position, very important. Make sure you can see the spaces. If you want more information on desk placement, then you can check out my video on knowledge and self-cultivation. I talked a lot about desk placement in that one. I'll link that at the end. Okay, so I did mention the throne. Okay, so next I want to talk about your chair. Your chair is very important. With your chair, you want to feel supported, you want to feel protected, and if you feel supported and protected, you have more energy to focus and to be productive. But if you feel exposed and you don't feel supported, then what that does is it kind of uses up some of your mental energy, and it's being used because subconsciously you don't feel safe. You don't feel like you can be productive. So your chair is very important. It also, it sends a message to other people as well that, that you are to be respected. If you have a higher back chair, like if you don't have a support, if you have a little dinky chair, that doesn't send a very powerful message. So make sure that you have a high back chair. I know that, it's not really common to have a chair above your head unless you're super short like I am. But if you can at least have a chair that supports the back of your neck, maybe like up to the middle of your head, that would be great. Whether that's in a private home office setting or if you're in a corporate setting. Okay, so and then armrests. Make sure that you have arm support, and ideally if you can adjust them. And then speaking of being supported, behind your chair, you ideally want a solid wall behind you, because again, you feel supported. You don't want a window behind you. If you have a window behind you and you can't move locations or you can't turn your desk, then definitely close the curtains or close the blinds. And if you can't do that, or if you want to add additional support, maybe put a bookshelf. If you have a tall bookshelf, great. If you don't, then if you only have a short bookshelf, then add some plants or some books to help you feel protected and supported behind you. Windows are fantastic, but you don't want that behind you. Like I said, you want that on the side or in front of you for you to see out of. So windows are very relaxing and refreshing. So having a view is fantastic. Okay, so we covered the chair, we covered the command position. Okay, your desk. Your actual desk should be stable, should be firm, solid, big enough to support your work, all of your equipment, all of your materials, all of your supplies and storage. You want a strong supportive desk. Wood is ideal. Wood symbolizes growth. So yes, wood would be an ideal material. Stone is a good material too. Like if you have a marble desk. Oh man, I'd love to have a marble desk. So if you have like a stone desk, that's really great too. What you don't want is a glass desk, because Number one, you can see through it, so you don't feel very supported. You also are distracted by everything underneath, like the cords and, your cute shoes or, whatever. So you don't want a glass desk. Also, there's a reflection, a light reflection. They're hard to keep clean, tons of smudges. And glass, subconsciously you feel like glass can break, so it doesn't feel very strong or supportive. So avoid the glass. If you are in a situation where you are facing the person next to you, like you're face to face, then hopefully you have at least a privacy screen. That is some type of privacy or protection there. If you don't, then I recommend getting a privacy screen or curtain or plants or bookshelf or something to create that, or turn your desk or pull your desk away at very minimum, because not only is that distracting and you don't have that privacy and you can't really focus, but you're sharing energy. And so say you need like a lot of peace and quiet, and this person, they deal with a lot of people, that's too chaotic. So you're sharing that energy. So I would definitely avoid that face-to-face scenario as much as possible, or create some sense of privacy. Okay, so also you don't want to be near a restroom or a bathroom, especially in a public setting where it gets a lot of use. So, if you can move desks, great. If you can't, create that protection barrier, again, with a bookshelf or a privacy screen or what have you. You don't want a lot of traffic behind you, or you don't want, like, if you're in a situation where there's an aisle and they can come up behind you this way, you want to avoid that. So, but if you can't and you feel exposed, then you can get a mirror or a reflective surface. I know they make like these like vases or like pencil holders that have reflective surfaces where you can see behind you. Then that would eliminate that feeling of being exposed. But with reflective surfaces, you want to be careful, because say it's that bathroom, it's that negative energy. Then yes, that does reflect that negative energy away from you. But then, is it aimed at another coworker and you're aiming that bathroom energy at your other coworker? I don't recommend that. So please be careful with your mirrors and your reflective surfaces. So that's one way to minimize negative energy, but an ideal way to minimize negative energy, whether that be a bathroom or EMF radiation or just negative energy coming from coworkers, is to absorb it. And ideal crystals for that are black tourmaline or black onyx, because any black crystals absorb negative energy, absorb that energy. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. If you just need a break, I recommend going outside and taking your shoes off and just walking in the grass. Like, just put your feet on earth, and that will cleanse negative energy straight out of your body. Like, it's instantaneous. And if you can, you could get one of those salt healing lamps that you put your bare feet on. I don't know if you're comfortable taking your shoes off at work, but under your desk, if your desk is private enough, you could put that under your desk, and it's a healing salt lamp, and you just put your bare feet on that. Especially if you're around a lot of EMF radiation, you can for sure do this in your private office at home. And if you don't want to invest in one of those, it might be a little pricey for you, then you could even just go buy like a paver at Home Depot or Lowe's and put that paver under your desk and put your bare feet on that paver. You get some grounding, healing, purifying impact from that. Of course, I'm going to mention to keep your desk clean, keep it organized. I have a family member that has taxes from like 20 years ago. You don't need that stuff. Get rid of it. That creates a financial burden, an energy of financial burden, and you don't want that. That's the opposite of abundance. So, if it's a done deal, get rid of it. If you have to hold on to it, put it somewhere where it's not in your vicinity. Maybe like a storage shed, or file it on the computer somewhere. Like, you don't want that energy out there. Just just keep it organized. If you have a ton of work and you're super behind and you have all this work that you are like, all this work that you still have to do, just keep out what you're working on right now and then put that other stuff away, because you don't want to feel overwhelmed. You want to feel like you can apply 100% of your energy to what you're working on at that very time, and then pull the next thing out after you finish it. And again, when you finish something, move it away, like move it on, file it, give it to the person that needs it, get it out of your space. You want to keep that that sense of flow, that sense of movement going, and productivity and abundance. Also, keep in visual sight something that inspires you. It might be a person. I have a small picture of a person that inspires you. Like, I'm working really hard for my kid in college, and I'm so proud of him, and I just want to support him the best that I can. Maybe that's what inspires you, or maybe it's you're working towards a certain degree, and you could have something that is reflective of that, like something that you're working towards. But you don't want too much out. You only want, very minimum things out that will inspire you, because again, you don't want to feel distracted, overwhelmed, or stressed out. So remove any visual clutter, whether that's actual clutter or if you're really sensitive to energy like I am, just too many colors in general can be distracting. I did an assessment of my space and I had 9 colors. I wrote them all down. I had 9 colors, and I'm like, okay, let's reduce this to like, I'll lump all my neutrals into one. I'll say like my grays, my beiges, and my whites. Okay, I'm going to count that all as one. And then I'm going to pick 3. I'm going to pick 3 colors to add to my neutrals. And then I'm going to get rid of all the extra colors. Just too much colors for me. So maybe you're not as sensitive as I am, but just remove as much visual clutter as possible. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something from this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel.